We live, we live, we live.
I know we
What,
had a bye week.
what's up? What's up, everybody?
We
It
had a
is
girl
Coach
bye.
Terri Bryant with my girl Kelz with the Intelz. We coming off this bye. Had a bye week last week, so we was missing MIA like a mug last week. So, but it was a
Yeah.
bye week, so we really had too much to talk about. Wasn't too much going on except for we were still mourning our boy Marshawn. Listen, how about them Cowboys? How about them freaking Cowboys, Kells?
Listen, I kind of like our new toys we got.
I like our new toys.
We got some nice little toys, Quentin Williams,
He
he
balled out,
listen, he played
lights
half,
out.
yes, and he played half of his snap counts, and um he knocked out half of all of his sacks.
That part.
Man, I was like, go ahead, Quentin. I
Oh,
mean,
go ahead.
I
Let's
liked him.
go.
I liked him when he was on the Jets and
Yeah.
everything. I'm in the DC area. So anytime I'm happen to get like a team that's playing the Jets or they just going to show the Jets for whatever reason, I
Hmm.
always like to watch him because I I still like Sexy Dexy, but he is like right there as far as performance wise. I
Gotcha.
loved what Logan Wilson brought to the team. So I know that was like our first trade and everything. So I said, okay, okay. But then when Quentin Williams came in, I said, oh, I see why they got Logan Wilson. And then they pulled the trigger and they
Hmm.
just went for the highest bid and got Quentin Williams. And I liked what Jatavian Clowney did. He did
Yeah.
what he was supposed to. He played his part so that Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams could do what they did, and
They supposed to do.
they sacked the mess out of Geno Smith. Now
I'm surprised Gino
that
didn't
first,
didn't go didn't crawl off the field like he did the week before because they tore him up the week before and he was injured and having to play injured. But ooh
yeah,
wee.
and now, um, they have activated Perry and Winfrey,
Okay.
and they waived Damone Clark. I hope that we could sign Damone Clark to our practice
Hmm.
squad. We could get him back once he clears waivers because that takes like 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that we can able, to get him back on the practice squad. Um, but we're gonna have some big boys. And what the plan was gonna be, leading up to this Raiders game, they was gonna run a 5-2. So they was
Okay.
gonna have all the big boys. They was gonna have Osa. They was gonna have Salo. They was gonna have uh Osa, Salo, um Quentin. I miss one. Kenny, Joe Toia. And they was also going to put Demo in there. And I forgot who their and Logan Wilson. So that was supposed to be their 5-2.
Okay.
But and they still ran some 5-2 because they put Joe Toia in a Salo spot. And then they put Donovan as a Raku in. And speaking of Dono, let me talk about that premeditated safety. When they that was
Yeah.
premeditated. That was premeditated
Definitely.
because they made sure he got sacked on the 1 yard line. And then when they ran the next play,
They blitzed because he did
That's
not get
all they
in.
needed. That's all they
What
needed.
was
So
to get the safety?
to get the safety. That was premeditated. I was like,
Wow. I don't think
just
I've
kidding.
ever seen that as a strategy before.
Because when I saw that, and I was talking, and people know don't call me while the game's on. don't call me while the game's on. Don't text me while the game's on. Don't call me. But
Right.
my ex, he called me. He was like, "Yo, did you see?" I was like, "You got 2 seconds to say what you gotta say." And as soon as that happened, that play, I said, "Hold on," and I threw the phone down and stuff. And I watched it. I said, "That was premeditated." They chef kiss. That's all I have to say. Chef
Gotcha.
kiss. That was so premeditated. At the one, you made sure you sacked them at the 1 yard line.
I mean, I loved it. I was like, oh my goodness, I was, and I think he had no type of momentum on when he was getting ready when he got
Well,
the
that first
ball.
drive was kind of
Yeah,
tricky when
yeah.
they, and honestly, when I, and like I said, I watched the game again. That first drive, it was a lot because they benched CD
What? Okay,
and
what was
Pickett.
up with the benching?
They missed. They wanted to
Miss
have
curfew. They in Vegas, so they miss curfew.
they wanted to
Well,
have a
whatever
Vegas
happens in
night.
Vegas stays in Vegas. That's. I mean,
Right,
I don't know what you expect for some,
right.
young men. They gonna do what they need. They gonna do in Vegas. It's Vegas.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean I get that, but I'm like, oh, because that was my worry. I was like, okay, they're in
How
Vegas.
long are they gonna be out? Yeah.
And not only that, but Cowboys Nation shut Vegas
Vegas. Damn. Yeah, I
down this
saw
whole
that.
weekend. I mean, it started on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And this game was not until last night. It
Yeah.
started last Wednesday. So yeah, they missed curfew and stuff. It was some cameras being yeah. It's only a
That's
couple of times where the curfew does not
right.
it really
Gotcha.
doesn't take effect. Like the last, well, not last year, but 2 years ago, where they came here to play Washington. That was the last game of the season, and we
Hmm.
already had our playoff spots and everything.
Right.
And they were, they didn't have no curfew, because I'm sitting down at the bar talking to Will McClay, who's the VP of
Right.
player personnel,
Right.
and I'm looking at all these players, and I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, it's 10:58. And he was like, it's the end of the season. He was like, it's the end of the season. We're playing Washington.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's what happened. But then that so-called fumble on Dak,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
that happened in the first drive too. So when I watched it again, I was like, that's not a
That's not a
fumble.
fumble. It was a he was going forward, right?
Yeah,
Forward pass. Yeah.
that should have been a down play, but that
Down
wasn't.
play. Yeah. It should have been an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So my daughter's on Hey Baby, and she said that she can tune in now that the Cowboys won. She said, but she can't. But when they lose, she can't turn in. And then we got a Rams.
I wish I
Somebody
had
from the
that
Rams,
luxury.
Gridiron Beauties is who I normally don't have no problem with, but you can't. So you're talking about a bad Raiders team. This is my thing about when people say that it's a bad team. It's the NFL. When I'm looking at a Hall of Fame coach, and then I'm looking at the defense. Like, first of all, you got two to me, they got two of the best tight ends. The Raiders to me have two of the best
They
tight ends
do.
in Michael Mayer came out of Notre Dame.
Oh,
My son played
I
against
call him
him
Friday
in the high
13th.
school state championship game, and he was throwing them around like a rag doll. He was a man against boys
Mm-hmm.
at that particular time. He's really, really good. And then of course, if
Brock.
you're in the SEC and and
Brock Bowers.
Bowers,
He's a
it was
menace.
cold blooded too. Yes, right. And then you got okay, so then when you go on the defensive side, you got Crosby. But when I tell y'all they have number 33 Jamal Adams, who at one time
He's a box safety.
was the highest paid safety in the league, who's now has went over to linebacker. I mean, he had a couple of good tackles and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, I'm not getting ready to, y'all not getting ready to diminish the fact that y'all think that the Raiders are a bad team. I mean, a perfect
And
example of
that's
that, you know what I mean? They're still a good team.
yeah,
We
and
just
that's what I
getting
and
on
that's
all
what I
cylinders
said.
that particular game. I'm not listening to that. I ain't listening to
Right.
that.
And like that's what I said. Like when I
The
watch,
refs always make bad calls against
right.
everybody.
And that's what like, and I'm starting to get more into it because I Mike McCarthy, he had me loathing the word analytics and everything.
Okay.
So now that I've been doing a lot of podcasts and I do the breakdowns of both teams and everything on both sides of the ball. Now I'm looking at analytics in a whole different,
Just a different perspective.
yeah, in a whole different perspective.
Yeah.
So like on paper, they're basically a decent sound team. Now granted, I do not like, and I used the word hate yesterday on the other podcast that I do, and I was like, that's kind of a word because I really don't like using the word hate, but I despise Chip Kelly. And we talked
Gotcha.
about and we talked
Offensive
about
coordinator. Yeah.
yeah, we talked about that on
Yeah.
last week when you was moderating
Oh yeah,
on
the the
the
East. Yeah.
yeah, on the
The East
East.
ain't easy.
Yeah. On Black Women Love Football channel. And but he keeps a simplistic sound scheme. And then as far as on defense with Pat Graham, who is their DC, they are starting to transition from a cover 3 to a cover 1. So, and they only had one safety. So, they've been playing they normally play two highs in a base 4-3 4-man front. But they are um but they're transitioning now to a cover 1. So, and they also do like mixed things with man to man and zone, but they're basically a man to man team when you look at it. So but on paper they're a good team, but then when you see it translating on the field, you be like, this ain't what it's supposed to look like on paper. So, and one of the things that we were saying, like with, because I was still saying that this defense is still kind of sketchy, even with the new
Even with the new
shiny,
people.
yeah, even with
Yeah.
the shiny toys that we got and
Right.
everything. Um, Ashton Genty was my main concern.
We shut him down.
He and I was like,
He
I
got
knew he wasn't
nothing.
going to get, and I was like, even with Quentin Williams, they was going to keep him under 100. He wasn't going to get 100 yards. I was thinking
Right.
maybe between 50 to 70 yards at the max,
hmm
but we only held him to 7 yards.
He got nothing.
Nothing.
So I think that the rate they were throwing the ball, I think a little bit more than expected, and you know, the pick six, and we had with the pick six. Who got the pick six?
It was just the Marquise Bell.
Yeah,
HBCU, FAMU Rattlers, go ahead. But
yeah.
I wish it was a pick six. Oh, if you would have ran that in for a pick six.
Oh, he didn't.
Oh
Oh, I don't
no,
know.
that
I
was just
must have been watching
a
another game,
tip.
girl.
It was just
Yeah.
a tip
Okay.
and pick.
Okay.
And the only other one we could have had 40 points had CeeDee Lamb caught that ball right there he was right there at the end zone. All he had to do was catch the ball and extended it, and he would have been right there. So but and I couldn't even give like a score because I was like, I really don't have a score because I like how we was talking about, like even though there are two at the time, there were 217,
Mm-hmm.
and I said the same thing about the Jets, and I said the same thing about Chicago when they got their first win off of us. um that, the Cowboys sometimes could be the NFL CVS pharmacy, where a team that's supposed to be playing us, they can have 0 wins on their
But
board.
they're gonna show up to play for us.
Yeah, they're going to come right to the
Hmm.
Cowboys CVS
Hmm.
pharmacy. They're going to get their prescription filled. They're going to take every antibiotic, every medicine that's been
Oh
prescribed
yeah.
to them, and then they will come out with a win.
But that's been our history for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
You know.
So, but I guess the CVS pharmacy was closed for the Raiders that night. But
I ain't gonna
again,
lie. I was worried. I felt like it could have went either way.
either
I,
way,
I felt like it was a game just like I thought it was, like you said, like the Chicago game
the
or the
Jets.
Panthers game, yeah,
Yeah.
or the Jets game, where I just felt like it just could have went either way, and it just I didn't know. Somebody asked me at work, and they was like, "Well, what are y'all going?" I said, "I don't know. I don't know what Dallas team is going to show up."
Yeah, and what I was talking about last night, I think it was on the post game podcast I did. That I really didn't have us for this season going into the playoffs. But my whole schedule prediction has been busted thanks to that one tie that we have,
Yeah, yeah.
on our schedule. So
Hmm.
because I was like, and this was before the whole Micah trade, I was like, we have everything is new because this is a rebuilding year. So I'm
It
like, this
always
is
is when you got a new staff.
right. And I was like, this is going to be like the evaluation. Say, okay, I like what we did here, but these are some of the things that we need to improve on. So when uh, the next season come, we have whatever we need in place so we can move forward and have a better season and everything. But yeah, I really didn't have a score. um the only thing I said that I wanted us to do it for Sean. That's what
Absolutely,
I
I
wanted.
loved all of the pregame tributes to him, the
Yeah, and shout out
shirts,
to the Raiders for what
yeah,
they did.
just everything was just great, and I hope that that maybe they need to use that his motivation for the rest of the season. That
Yeah,
we're going to play the rest of the season for him,
yeah,
and
and
use that
and I
as
like
whatever
what.
the motivation that they need in order to get us over the hump for the postseason. So we got 10 minutes left, and I gotta hop on over and moderate the Black Women Love Football. The East ain't easy because the East ain't easy.
Yeah,
The NFC East is not easy at all. I'm gonna go moderate that. So what's your prediction for this weekend with against the Eagles? We should have beat them the first time.
yeah, yeah.
You
They
know what I
gave
mean?
us they
So
gave us four
they
opportunities. four,
yes.
four
We and,
opportunities.
and and I'm hoping that and I do think that I think CD is gonna ask for the ball so that he can redeem himself.
Yeah. Um, like what I said before, and this is just to break down Vic Fangio's playbook. I'm hoping that Clayton Adams, Connor Riley, Shoddy put their heads together with Dak, so they can defeat Vic Fangio's cover six. Um, because
Because
he
he definitely
he
has.
runs cover six a lot on Dak Prescott because that is Dak's arch nemesis. And Vic Fangio knows that Dak Prescott struggles on a cover six. And he
Mhm.
only uses cover six like 19% of the time throughout the whole Eagles schedule. But when it comes to playing twice a season, Rain Dakota Prescott, he escalate that 19% to 31% of the time.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they will some way, somehow uh find a way so they can, you know, to answer that cover six. But it's gonna be a good game. I'm hoping. I'm just hoping that it is a good game. It's not going to be like it was on week one. Um, now that we got Quentin Williams in the building, it's going to be it's going to be a defensive game, because that's the only thing that's keeping the Eagles going right now is
Is
their
the
defense.
defense. Okay.
And I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game, because the last, I want to say the last three games that the Eagles has played, because I know they had a bye last week. Was no, not last week, week before last,
The
because
week before.
theirs was on week 9. Um, they've been real low scoring and very lackluster. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game, but it's going to be a very good defensive game.
Defensive game. Okay, good. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, girl, I appreciate you. And all of that. Thanks for my daughter and Gridiron Beauties for coming on. I appreciate y'all for and whoever else that decided to tag in or catch this on the replay. Right now, I'm getting ready to at 8 o'clock switch over on YouTube to Black Women Love Football, and we're going to do a NFC East analysis, and I'm moderating that. Tomorrow we got
text me if you got some questions and stuff. I'll do my best to answer.
absolutely. I think that I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so tomorrow, make sure you tune into our regularly scheduled Hits and Heels on tomorrow at 9 o'clock Eastern. And Kelz, for the Intelz, you have 3 or 4 podcasts that you're in. Go ahead and knock those out if you're a Cowboys fan.
Only this one, and the other one is on Built Different Group. It's called The Big Three. It's myself, and the creator, Barry Gibson, and Bob the Cowboy Cannabis Rally. So it's just us three, and then this year we're doing some things different, where we bring the ops in to give the point of view of their team. And for the Eagles, Dr. Jen, she's also a part of Black Women Love Football. She will be back with us talking about what the Eagles have done, since our week 1 matchup. So she'll be back this for next week. And yeah, so that's what I'm on. It's on Built Different Group on Facebook.
Gotcha. So, I'm getting ready to switch over to the Black Women Love Football on YouTube, and I will be moderating that because the NFC is not even easy. But listen, at least this week, how about them Cowboys?
How about them? And 988, you're not in this alone.
All right, sis. We'll see you.
See ya.